the value of wrestling, the revolutionary force in wrestling podcasting.
Yes, I'm back again with another Big Time Rants. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Big Time Rants on the Big Time right here on the Value Wrestling YouTube channel. Yes, welcome. Thank you for joining me. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that bell for notifications so you know when we ever put up new videos or we go live. You will know instantaneously here in my new studio, getting lighting fixed, getting stuff all set up. Looking good. I know my hat's a little white, so it's got a little bit of glow. Can't tell if it's a Braves hat, but it is. So, anyways, I'm here with the news, and we're going to break it down with some news, rumors, and reports real quick. Starting off with Daniel Bryan talked to the Sports Illustrated. In his interview with Sports Illustrated, he said that he wanted to clarify what he meant by his retirement. He does plan on stepping back from in-ring action after his daughter turns 7, but that does not mean that he will completely step away. He may still be involved in different ways, and he may show up once a month, once a pay-per-view, maybe a couple of times a month. Who knows? One of his favorite stars when he was younger was Terry Funk, and Terry Funk had a long-lived career where he'd wrestle here, and then he'd wrestle there, and he would show up whenever he wanted and kept wrestling. He had many, many retirement matches and just kept enjoying what he was doing. So we may see Bryan Danielson continue to wrestle, even though he may retire from full-time action. He may come around as needed, special attraction, and other events. So that is good news to hear that we may still have some Bryan Danielson left to go around. In other news, Edge has been removed from the internal roster of WWE. He's not off the active roster on the WWE.com page, but he has been removed from the internal roster. What does this mean? Nothing, everything, who knows? What is Edge's next move? We don't know. Edge did put out a video from what looked like his front porch saying that he had an offer on the table and he was, trying to figure it out. And of course he felt, what can you do better than how he left facing Sheamus on SmackDown in Toronto. So we'll just have to wait and see if we see Edge, Adam Copeland, Sexton Hardcastle, any variations of that in the near future, anywhere in a wrestling ring or on TV. Heath. Yes, we're talking about Heath, formerly known as Heath Slater, better known as Heath Miller. Looks like his contract with TNA, or not TNA, excuse me. I always want to call it Impact TNA. It is just Impact these days. His contract is up, and he may be moving on, maybe looking to in new endeavors, whether that's an AEW run, a WWE return, or other things. We don't know. He may resign with Impact and stay right where he is. But Heath Slater's Impact contract seems to be coming up. A lot of contracts at Impact seem to be coming up. So a lot of breaking news there. A lot of news coming out of the TKO Group Holdings. The merger between WWE and UFC now under the Endeavor umbrella. Lots of things are getting pushed. A lot of things are getting changed. Nick Khan had a question about CM Punk. He basically passed the buck, really didn't answer the question, just said we respect what CM Punk has done for the business and left it at that. Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? It all depends on how you want to take it, interpret it. You can make it whatever you want. By now, we know nothing, and nothing is what we know. Chicago, Survivor Series. Will we see CM Punk? Royal Rumble. Will we see CM Punk? Who knows? Speaking of the Royal Rumble, it was made official today by TKO that the Royal Rumble will be officially held, the 37th annual Royal Rumble. That will be officially held at the Tropicana Field in Tampa Bay, Florida, St. Pete, Clearwater, that whole area. Big wrestling area. And we expect great things from this event as the Royal Rumble will roll into Tropicana Field for the 37th annual Royal Rumble. And yes, it's coming down the pipeline that the winner of the men's Royal Rumble has already been decided. A lot of talk that maybe LA Knight might be the guy, but I think the story is what the story is. And if you know what the story is, then you know what might just be coming down the pipeline from that. So I wouldn't hold your breath for any big surprises. But we will wait and see as we move into Royal Rumble season and into WrestleMania season. Ladies and gentlemen, it is right around the corner. We are about to hit mid-September. We are clicking closer to Fastlane. And in the Survivor Series, Crown Jewel is supposedly supposed to show up at some point in between here and there. We don't know. No reports yet, but we will see how that plays out. In other news, so we know the Rumble is going to be in Tropicana in Tampa Bay, but what else could happen right now? Well, in other news, the changes coming out of TKO and the merger is the Wednesday Night Wars may be back. We may get a return of the Wednesday Night Wars, as rumors and speculation is that NXT will be moving back to Wednesday nights to give a challenge, to give some competition to AEW. We don't know. We'll have to see. Though WWE has really been pushing for Impact, or not Impact. Good God, I get myself all tied up. It's a damn shame. NXT, WWE NXT, looks like it may be moving to Wednesday night, and we may have a return to the Wednesday Night Wars. WWE's been working hard to make NXT its own brand, not a training brand or an OVW type of brand, but making it its own brand with legitimacy. Just as of last night, Becky Lynch has won the NXT Women's Champion, and it's now become a Grand Slam champion by obtaining the one title she hadn't obtained up to this point, and now is the NXT Women's Champion. We've seen this with Dolph Ziggler to help get Braun Breaker over more. We see a lot of things going over. A lot of the what we originally call main roster stars going over to NXT. I guess we should quit calling the main roster people and just saying that there's big stars showing up in NXT. Will this help drive a new war? Will this help build NXT to a whole new level? Or will NXT fall like it did last time? I guess we're going to have to wait and see. It is all up in the air. The big question is, how much control will Vince have over NXT? We'll have to wait and see, since Vince McMahon is back, and it looks like he's going to jump right back into that creative chair and dig his hands deep into the creative reins of WWE. Now, we do know that Vince McMahon is no longer the majority owner of WWE. Nope, that belongs to Endeavor, and he has bosses to answer to now. So, if he's not making it happen, if the fans are turning it down, if the fans are booing, or the fans ain't liking it, he's going to have people to answer to, and who knows how long he can hold on to that position. He does have accountability now, and especially with all the changes that are going on. I don't know if Endeavor and that group and Aria Emanuel are going to allow Vince McMahon to create storylines and bring in stars that just don't move the needle, or just not who the fans want to see. So we'll have to wait and see how that all plays out, but it looks like Vince McMahon is jumping right back into the creative seat and will be running Raw and SmackDown, whether he's there or remotely. We'll have to wait and see how it all plays out. The future only around the corner, and we'll have to see how that plays out. Now, in breaking news coming out of the pipeline, did AEW and Tony Khan pull a Vince McMahon themselves? Well, ladies and gentlemen, coming out of Ringside News and several other sources, it looks like AEW reported the paid attendance for the 2023 All-In pay-per-view event at Wembley Stadium was 81,035, which they claim set a new record for a wrestling event. They have celebrated this number time and time again since then. When Brent Borough Council, the local authority for the London Borough of Brent in Greater London, England, was asked for the official and accurate attendance figures for All In, they responded to say that AEW apparently tacked on around 10,000 fans. Russell tickets estimated the final count of distributed, there we go, I got the word right, tickets for All In to be at 83,131 tickets. Now, that means distributed. That doesn't necessarily mean every one of those tickets was paid for. According to a source mentioned by WrestleNomics, a typical AEW event typically sees a turnstile count that is about 80 to 90% of the paid attendance or tickets distributed. In this case, 72,265 represents 89% of the 83,131 paid, bought, distributed tickets. In response to a public record request from the attendance of All In, AEW All In on August 27th, the Freedom of Information Office for the Brent Civic Center responded today. The actual number registered entering Wembley Stadium through the turnstiles was 72,265. This is reflective of what the attended on the night and not the total numbers of tickets sold or no shows, etc. Arlington Police reported a turnstile count of 80,709 for WWE's WrestleMania 32 in 2016 in Arlington, Texas. It remains unclear how suite attendees were included in either event's attendance figures. We'll have to see if AEW makes any mention of this news report. They have another episode of Dynamite going down this week, and they are known to throw inside baseball jokes into their promos. If anything, fans might see them take a shot at this number during being the Elite. Anyways, so AEW's turnstile attendance for All In 2023, 72,265. WWE WrestleMania 32 attendance. The number that came through the turnstiles, 80,709. Paid attendance, what was announced by AEW was 81,035. WWE 32 implied by WD disclosure is anywhere between 73,711 to 85,888. So, again, this means we have a mixture of numbers. What does it mean? So, we know that there were 72,265 people in attendance that night that went through a turnstile. What this may not include is necessarily people who were in suites, who were in guest suites. We don't know how they entered the building or how they may have came through. But that's still a big number. You're talking about 9,000 people in suites. Possibly not. Did AEW embellish this number? Well, they did say the paid attendance. So you have to define, are we just talking about how many people bought tickets to the show? Or are we talking about the number of people that paid that came through the gate? This is going to be up in the air for debate, and it's going to put a little people on edge when we see numbers like this. Did Tony Khan tell us a lie? Did AEW stretch the numbers? Did they pull a Vince McMahon? It's really hard to say, but it is in the news, and it is being reported that the attendance at All In, what went through the turnstile, was 72,265. With that being said, we'll have to see what happens in the future. Is AEW going to keep pushing the agenda that they got, or will they come back and give us a why, a reason, or how? Maybe Tony Khan will step up and make it make sense. That's all we ask for in wrestling. Make it make sense. Yeah. Anyways.
Dummy, yeah.
Exactly. Anyways, on the big time, this has been the Big Time Rants, breaking down some news. Again, join us Saturday night after Collision right here on the Value Wrestling YouTube channel. We'll be doing the weekly roundup where we're going to cover all the shows that break down this week and any other news reports. And some of the news and reports that I've already covered this week, we'll break those down with Paulus Clark, Miguel Z. Yes, we're going to do it, so be there. Also, hit that subscribe button, then ring that bell for notifications so you're alerted when any new videos or when we go live is available. We need you there. Support us. Make sure you share this out. Like, comment, subscribe. Do all that wonderful thing. We thank you for your time, and we hope to see you next time on the Big Time. And I am out. If I can figure out where there we go. Let's switch back over to this.
This is the value of wrestling, the revolutionary force in wrestling podcasting.